Bill's here, we can get started.
All right. We have a quorum. I'd like to call to the order the meeting of Ulster County IDA on January 17th, 8:45 a.m. Can we please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's take a roll call. Costa Bahal, present. Mr. Stephen Kelly.
Present.
Ms. Rachel Silverman.
Present.
All here. So first of all, thank you both, Rachel and Steve, for joining the governance committee on a short notice and coming this morning as well. Our two committee members have resigned from the board. I think Mike, our board chair, will be able to give more input on that at the annual board meeting. But we wanted to have a meeting today in advance of the annual board meeting to mostly go over some annual housekeeping items and also just quickly give you a very brief overview of what we have done in the past. And after the meeting, maybe I can hand you a couple of packets or send it through our council, which we can review at the next meeting, which is mostly about the strategy and the housing policy. So I'll take a pause. Hillary, do you want to quickly jump into the items that we want to discuss today? I don't think we need a executive session. Oh, approval of minutes, right?
Can I do that if I wasn't at the last?
I'm going to abstain.
I think I need to abstain,
That was our
right?
question. For
And that comes up, that's an issue that comes up periodically. I think what we'll do, given that we only have one carryover board member, is that you'll make a recommendation that the minutes be accepted, you'll accept them,
Okay.
and that'll be enough for the,
All
that'll
right.
be enough for the record.
Okay.
So
Do you want me to make a
I'll make a,
recommendation?
you can make a recommendation and I can accept, but we don't need a motion on this, right? Yeah.
So let's make a recommendation to
All right.
accept the meeting minutes.
And those are for the meeting held on November 13, 2023. So I will approve. Joe?
Yes.
All right. So consider it approved, please. The next thing, I don't believe we have any public comment at this time. All right. We don't need an executive session today. So I think we can quickly do a few reviews. One is a review of governance charter and the self-evaluation. The next is annual housekeeping and PAA policy. And 2022 project administration executive director report. After that, or you
Yeah,
want
if
to do
we
it
have
before
time,
that?
or
Okay.
we can table it.
That's fine.
It's really, I think, we're looking more to be able to bring things forward to the annual meeting
Correct.
next.
All right.
So, if you guys turn to page 8, this is the current governance committee charter. And if you flip to page 11, you'll kind of see that annually you need to review, assess, and make necessary changes to the governance committee charter and provide a self-evaluation of the governance committee. We didn't have a formal form in place for that. So if you feel comfortable, we can move it forward with any recommendations, or if you feel like you need more time to really review this as new members, we can table it for the next governance committee. It's really up to you as the committee.
I would motion that we just move it forward.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll make no changes or recommendations at this.
Nope.
And then I think we could recommend that that could be forwarded to the full board for approval? Or is that necessary?
Just a review, right?
I believe that's just for you as a committee.
Okay.
Correct, yep.
And your own kind of housekeeping within the committee, so.
Okay.
Okay, and then the next ones, these are ones that we're moving forward to the board just as the executive director, and I don't believe that there was anything major that we were asking, you know, you guys to really look in depth at, except for possibly that we weren't. Did we talk about this now or no? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, all right. So we've got our code of ethics, compensation and attendance policy, defense and indemnification policy, property disposition policy. And then you'll notice on page 23, this is the property acquisition policy. That's a required PAAA policy. And I apologize if I have misplaced
It's okay.
it, but we asked Joe to draft an updated one for you to review. Joe, is there anything that we should point out that may be different or?
That one.
Yeah.
It came as a surprise when you asked for it.
I just couldn't find it. It could just be me and trying to search, and I'm using the wrong key search words.
Well, in your defense, we couldn't find it.
Okay.
We have a pretty extensive file
Yeah.
on all of your policies. But this under, as Hillary indicated here, the public authorities law, which is focused on the property acquisition policy, to guide us if we were going to or went to. And this language mirrors the statute, nothing out of the ordinary of it. Things that you would expect, you know, appraisal, you know, consider insurance, et cetera, in connection with property acquisition. No, it's personal
not real.
and that's in section
18, eh? And Hillary and I spoke about it briefly that you were looking into it, Chair. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a little bit of a change on page 23. 26 is the travel and discretionary funds policy. This is, you know, basically why if I travel somewhere far, we're bringing it to the board. Whistleblower and protection code of conduct policy. And I believe that's all of the policies right now that we were looking, to review and bring forward, and then we can go into them again. We're going to bring more next month and have the rest of them approved at the next governance committee meeting. You know, and initially without the snow, our thought was to give everyone time to review some of the other housing stuff, but given that we kind of, with the snow, have to shift things around, these are the policies we were looking for your input or review on before bringing them to the board in about minutes.
So, just for the two new governance committee members, I did go over those briefly and discuss this with the executive director as well. I did not see anything. I believe Hillary has been in touch with Joe as well, our counsel. So those are the things that we have right now.
I mean, I read them.
Yeah, we all.
I didn't, wasn't sure if when there was discussion about them, I didn't have any.
There are no changes at this point.
So I'm not sure.
The purpose of this review is to have the governance committee make a recommendation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good policy to review your policies annually. Good practice to have committee structure involved in that review, and the governance committee is the committee that has in charge of reviewing policy structure. Governance committee reviews, makes a recommendation to the full board, and you do that annually, which is what we're going to do at the block meeting.
Yeah, okay, so I can make a motion
To make a
present this
recommendation.
To move this to the board.
Correct.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye.
The number 9, if we have 5 quick minutes, These were, we had wanted governance, so this has kind of been outstanding, but just, governance has had just some trying to get time to meet. So we're trying to close our books with BST. We have 3 open invoices right now in QuickBooks. And those are for late fees on 2022 projects. So each project is assessed a annual fee ranging from about $650 to $1,000 based on the project size. We had RBW, Partition Street, and the Northeast Center. All 3 of them assessed late fees last year that are still outstanding in QuickBooks. Part of this is on us because we were unaware that these were outstanding in QuickBooks, and BST brought it to our attention a few months ago. So it's kind of, what do we do with these late fees? We need to kind of close them out. This is public money, so we don't want to just write things off. So Lisa and I did a deep dive into the correspondence and records around these late fees, and from what we could tell, RBW submitted everything on time and paid on time. They just submitted one report incorrectly. So you're supposed to submit a payroll report on New York State, like 45 something, to show, that you hired people in New York State, and they submitted a different report. They had been given information from prior IDA staff that was okay and had submitted that report in the past. The Amber, who was kind of acting in that role last year, said no, it's not okay. There was some back and forth. The record or the correspondence kind of drops off from there. And we submitted everything into their appropriately to Paris. So their reports were submitted on time, their payment was received on time, and they, submitted what they felt were appropriate documents. So in that, and then our correspondence kind of drops off as to whether or not we ended up accepting that document or not. It kind of gets turned over to council, and we don't have any more information.
It was submitted into Paris and was accepted?
Yes, it was accepted in Paris. We didn't have, and everything was sent on time from them to the best of what they thought was appropriate. So in that case, we feel like it would be a little punitive to kind of.
I would make a motion that we close this and figure that it's complete.
Okay. So that's the RBW one. Does anyone want to
Oh, so I second.
Okay, and are we consensus?
Yes, she seconded.
Yep.
Okay.
We had to call yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's RBW.
RBW.
Okay.
So RBW, we will,
Close.
close that debt. All right, so the next one that I also kind of a similar situation to RBW is the Northeast Center. So from, again, what we could find in the records was that all of their requests that we sent to them for annual reporting information, the invoice, was sent to the wrong email address. It came back to us returned to sender, so we were aware that it wasn't received by them, and then it looks like we did nothing to find the right or fix the email address until March. When we sent it to them in March, they turned it around the same day. So again, we didn't really give them the bill or the paperwork, so that one we kind of feel like is on us as well.
Is the bill paid?
So the bill is paid, the late fee is not.
We
The-
waived the late fee, but
Yes,
the bill was
yes.
paid, and we have the document.
And we have the documentation, it just wasn't
Yeah.
received till March,
Same.
because again, we didn't give it to them, so, okay, so we have a motion,
Am I
from-
making the motion or am I seconding? Motion to waive that late fee as
alright,
well.
and then
Second.
second from.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
So then Northeast Center will also, all right, the only other, okay, so then now we're getting to the one where, you guys, this is more of a judgment call. So Partition Street was, from what we can tell, sent the documents. They were received by them. We followed up saying like, hey, where are these? They sent them over, and they sent them over late. There's nothing else to say why it was late, why they never gave it to us in the first place. It was just late. So that one is outstanding. Now, again, we have not tried to collect on this debt in almost a year, but from what I can tell in the records is that they were paid this late. So that's, you know,
If I may. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Partition Street, we had something going on back in 2023 with them in the beginning of the year, right? 22. Remember, we had to, with governance, we sent them a letter.
There has been some back and forth with
Mhm.
Partition Street. Maybe, I mean, I think where you're heading is that given the time elapse, it might be difficult or appear inappropriate, you know, or be punitive. What you could do is, and maybe this is a reasonable way to accommodate both a reasonable answer and also be sensitive to the fact that these are public monies in effect, where the collection of the monies, you know, becomes public money, is that see if they're timely this year. And if they're timely this year, then we'll waive, you could waive last year's.
Okay.
But if they're late this year, then we assess them for this year, and we assess them for last year, and move forward. But
I mean,
again- But
yeah.
again, I'm just,
Motion to do that.
Yeah, that's a good approach.
I'm giving you some
See if
suggestions.
it's a pattern or
Yeah.
if it was,
Exactly. Right.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
So just to confirm, we will waive the fee if documents are received on time and payment received on time this year.
Right, and if
Okay,
not, then we'll assess a fee for last year and this year.
Okay, but I don't need to come back to governance to do that. We can,
No.
No.
Well, that
Right.
letter will come out of governance.
it'll
Yeah,
come out of
we'll
governance.
send it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I'm glad we had a moment to take care of that. And then I think the plan is to table, I don't want to say,
Yes.
go ahead.
No, that's
Ask you,
okay.
I
On
apologize.
old business, for the housing policy review, there is some draft that we have been working on. I think it'll be best if it comes from our council to the committee. I can forward and CC you as well. The new board members have not seen it yet, along with certain other documents that might be helpful, which are, some of them are included here, like the patterns for progress.
Yeah.
And there'll also be a draft of guidelines that was drafted and sent to council that we've shared as well.
Okay, great.
And then after that, we can discuss that on an ongoing basis and also at the next governance committee meeting. And during the course, not as a quorum, but only at the meeting. Alright. So any other points of discussions on this or anything that we should do before the board meeting? I don't have anything at, Joe, nothing? All right.
Motion to adjourn.
And
Second.
there's no new business, so. Second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Can we do this
Okay.
quickly? All right. Hello, everyone. It's January 17th, 9:05 a.m. I would like to call to order the meeting of UCCRC. And can we do a quick roll call? Costa Vahal here, Mr. Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Ms. Rachel Silverman.
Present.
Thank you. I would like to take a moment to approve the minutes that we just discussed. So maybe I can have a recommendation from our executive director.
Sure. Recommendation to approve the minutes
All right.
by the board chair.
Thank you. Please consider this approval of minutes for the meeting held on November 13, 2023. I believe there are no public comments. No? We don't need an executive session today. For the items 6 and 7, I would recommend that we mimic the notes and the minutes from UCIDA meeting that was just held a few moments ago. On number 8, Executive Director Report.
So it's listed as old business because those are IDA fees. So the other, the discussion from the 2022 project fees are specific to IDA projects, not UCCRC projects.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. All right. On number 9, old business, We will continue that discussion at our next board meeting. We'll provide all the documents that were mentioned in the UCIDA meeting. We don't have any new business. Any questions? Any discussions? No? We
Alright.
can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Larry.
Remember the You have to remember the number on it, Joe.
You say take 5.
Okay, Lise. I'd like to call to order the January 17th, 2024 meeting of the Ulster County IDA, the annual meeting. Can we please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. We'll have a quick roll call. Michael Ham. Present. Stephen Kelly.
Present.
Rashida Tyler is possibly late. Rachel Silverman
Present.
and Costi-Well.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Public comment? No public comment at this time. No need for executive session, so we'll jump into organizational resolutions. We'll jump in first. We have election of officers for this year. Okay, so we'll start with the election of the chairman.
Motion to keep the same chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes, I.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. It was easy, huh? Okay, the election of balance of officers. So, Costu will remain as the governance chairman. Okay, so we have to go down the laundry list, don't we,
Yes.
Steve? Yeah.
Mr. Kelly first.
Yeah. So, as vice chair, I would like to ask Stephen Kelly to be the vice chair. I'd like to get a motion.
I'll
Oh, I don't
move
need
the
a motion, do I, Joe?
You can just appoint.
What do you think?
Appointments, or are we elected?
Y- They are elected, these ones. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll
These are on the,
I'll move the motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Secretary, I'd like to ask Rachel Silverman to pick up the role of secretary. Can I get a motion?
Oh, I make.
No, I'll
I
make the
gotta move
motion.
her out of there.
Do you accept?
I'll,
We have
do you, are you okay with that?
Hold on. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm getting the cart before the horse here, okay? Because I'm not, you know what it is, that when we're short people and we're trying to fill these,
It's a lot of bills.
Yeah.
Very few
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I cannot have both of those.
No, you cannot.
No,
Rashida's currently assistant
Would you rather
secretary,
have
she's
the
not here to
treasurer or the
accept the
secretary?
motion.
It's not treasurer, it's
Um,
finance.
Rashida can. Yeah, she cannot accept the motion. No, she's not here.
Yeah, she's not here. I can table that out, can I, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me table that out.
Yep.
Okay, because you know what, I'd like Rashida here too,
Mhm.
okay? So,
Yes.
Yay, just on time.
On time.
all right,
Good
Board
morning.
appointments,
yeah.
and then you can
Were
fill
your
out
ears
the office.
ringing on the way in?
You know, right now, let's
We need Rashida. We need
table out any other committee appointments right now until we follow up with the legislature, okay?
Yep.
On board.
We're doing,
We can do the vice chair? Yeah. Okay. Annual housekeeping resolution on page 3. Joe, do you want to brief everybody on that resolution?
Sure. If you go to page 6 of the materials, that's the operative provisions of the housekeeping resolution. And there's some frankly, there's some blanks here that maybe we can fill in, based on our discussion. I think, first item is, non-controversial, and I think is agreement, right? We're gonna keep the same meeting schedule.
Yep.
Executive director, we have that appointment. The finance officer, we now have a CFO, right?
Yep.
So we can fill in
BST.
BST,
BST.
right?
Yep.
And the staff of the agency is Hillary and
Lisa.
Okay.
and Lisa, right? The accounting firm, we have that. That's the firm out of Long Island, right?
That's doing the audit, is
Audit,
that what
yeah,
that means,
yeah, that's-
accounting?
that's-
Okay,
that's
yep.
the outside firm.
Davies?
Yep,
O'Connor Davies.
Yeah.
yep. Hopefully there's no changes in the next two items. We've listed our banks,
Mhm.
and I didn't know if there was anything that we wanted to.
Why do we use the Bank of Greene County instead of an Ulster County bank?
They're located right out there by ShopRite in the town of Ulster. We used them at the time, I believe, because we had some pretty good rates on our CDs, on investments. Currently, M&T is handling the lion's share of everything that we have.
Go ahead, Joe, I'm sorry.
So, sure, the next item is a list of our policies, and we talked a little bit about that during governance. What we could do there is say we've approved what governance has recommended, and then we'll table the balance
Okay.
until, and you and I can work on, winnowing down that list.
Yep.
Okay, so that'll be Hillary and I.
Okay.
Contract officer is typically the chair. Investment officer is what I've seen is either the executive director or the treasurer. So I'm neutral on that.
I think it should be the executive director,
Okay.
so that we don't have volunteers have to,
Great.
if we're gonna change money, move money, anything we're gonna do, it would be done by the executive director.
And then with respect to the FOIL policy, my recommendation is that the chair be the first order of contact,
Okay.
and then the executive director be the appellate, the appeals officer. What happens procedurally with respect to
Okay.
FOIL is that we get a request,
Yep.
should be directed to the chair, we respond, we either deliver or not deliver, or deliver in part, and then if they disagree, if the receiving party disagrees, they quote appeal, and then
Okay.
that would come to you as the executive director.
Okay,
And all this is with consultation of counsel.
got it, okay.
Okay. And that's all I have on Schedule A.
Thank you, Joe.
And, just procedurally, we typically, we use this with all of our IDA clients. You could do each item individually if you want. We put it in one schedule to make it easier and more efficient, but we're not trying to affect transparency or the ability to question or debate any particular item. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Joe. So can I entertain a motion to accept the annual housekeeping resolution?
So moved?
Go ahead, Steve.
Second. Costu?
So,
Uh,
Chair, go ahead.
Roll call vote. Okay. Michael Ham, yes. Stephen Kelly?
Yes.
Rachel Silverman?
Yes.
Rashida Tyler?
Yes.
And Costu Well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay.
Moving on. Is there any old business? Any old business?
No?
Is there any new business?
New business. Motion for adjournment.
I move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
February 17th, 2024, UCCRC Annual Meeting Agenda. Roll call, Michael Ham, present. Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Rashida Tyler.
Rachel Silverman
Present.
and Costa Wall.
Present.
We have a quorum, thank you. Public comment on agenda items only. Before I get too far ahead, let me go back to the mission statement. The mission of the Ulster County Capital Resource Corporation is to promote community and economic development in Ulster County in ways that complement the work of Ulster County, primarily through issuing and selling bonds for nonprofit institutions. Organization resolutions, can I let it reflect it? I got to go through it. I have to go through it because I got to take a roll call vote, right?
I'm comfortable.
With reflect?
Just saying that,
Yeah,
same
okay.
action as.
Okay.
as the item.
Okay, organization resolutions, let the election of the chair, balance of officers, and the annual housekeeping resolution reflect what we've already taken up as a board in the UCIDA meeting.
And that's assuming there's no objection from the board members.
right.
None from my side.
Can I get a motion to accept that?
I move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any old business? Any old
No.
business? Any new business? Any new business? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. UCIDA meeting, first one of this year of 2024. It is 9:24. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have a roll call. Michael Ham, present. Stephen Kelly.
Present.
Rashida Tyler.
Present.
Rachel Silverman.
Present.
Castiwell.
Present.
Thank you. The mission statement of the Ulster County Industrial Development Agency is to advance the job opportunities, general prosperity, and the long-term economic vitality of Ulster County residents by targeting tax incentives, bonding, and other assistance to foster creation and attraction of new business and the retention and expansion of existing businesses. In front of you, you will have the minutes from December 20th. I ask that you review them, and then I'll accept a motion to accept.
Lisa, for the debate around governance, that's where we're talking about the housing moratorium. Can we, I'm not sure it captures everything that was happening at the time. So, I guess my edits to that would be just to go back and to review the video and then see if everything that was said is captured here, because it's a great summation, but I think there were a few points that were not included. Right. Thank you.
What did you think was missed?
A lot of the debate that happened.
You wouldn't put in verbatim, that's why we have.
No, you don't have to put in verbatim, but there's other things that should be in there, and I'll discuss those with Lisa. Moratorium. Moratorium. Okay, thank you.
Page number 8.
Yep. No, it's okay. It is still about the governance committee summation, though. So I think there are a couple of points that were missed in that first point around the RFP. So we'll talk after.
The RFP.
Right.
What are,
What, the tech RFP?
Oh, the
Technology RFP?
IT services. Oh, I thought we were talking about the moratorium. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Mhm.
so are we approving the minutes or are we not approving the minutes?
Well, it's the sense of the board. We could approve subject to further comments, which will then be circulated back, or you can table them and then get another draft at the next meeting, reflecting the comments from UCIDA.
I think approving with review or reference that we're going to add things later. Yeah, I think that's fine.
It's up to the board. I mean, the issue is you may want to see the comments before you finally approve them. So that's the tension, if you will.
Yeah, let's table accepting the minutes out on further review, updating the minutes on anything that's been missed. Okay. In regards to governance.
Okay, so we approve all the minutes other than that.
I would say.
Or the repeating.
I would say that, no?
Okay,
Or do you want to
sure.
table the whole thing?
It's I mean, again, it's whatever the board wants to
Yeah.
do.
I think it's only the governance section on page 6, right? And it
Right.
relates to
Correct.
the RFP.
Okay,
Okay,
got it,
so
okay.
motion to accept the rest of the minutes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Except for the,
Except for the governance section, which
On page 6, yeah.
may be
has to do
added
with the
to.
RFP.
Right.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, public comment, agenda items only? Nothing. Executive session, if necessary? I have nothing.
No, I don't have any.
Okay, chair's report. We continue to work, to improve economic development here in Ulster County. I'm constantly in contact with Hillary, Lisa, and Joe. We're hoping some good projects come down, the line for us, and I'm looking to a good, prosperous 2024 here at the IDA. Hopefully, everything will start opening up. Maybe some projects really come our way, and that's what we're looking to do. I will touch base, even though I know the ED has this in her report. I was contacted by Diane Enion and Lynn Archer, and they both resigned from this board. The legislature has accepted their resignations. They wrote a letter over to the new chair of the legislature, Peter Criswell, stating that they had personal reasons and obligations to attend to. And I'd like to thank them both for all the hard work that they've done and their commitment to this board and the community. With that, that's my report, and I'll hand it over to the executive director for her report.
All right, so I'm just going to try to keep it brief because I know we've all been here for a minute now, and there's not a lot going on between the holidays. So just to give you some general updates, the IT contract, we are now working with Mid-Hudson Web. That's coming along. We met with them right after the first of the year on January 3rd and have had several meetings since then. Just some notable highlights is that we are moving our website to a new platform, a web hosting platform, and that's going to expand our megabytes or terabytes, whatever, so we can really get the website to be a little more functional. That's going to expand the storage. We need to update the plugins to resolve some of the issues that we have on certain pages. So we're really excited about that. We're also going to be moving to a Google platform hosting. So that's just a little bit, I think, safer in general, more user-friendly than what we have. And we also want to be, so we're moving the platform first to get things more operational. But then we are going to be building out a new website that really speaks to the work of what we're doing, as well as making sure that we are ABO compliant and have public transparency as per, the law. So we're really excited about that. If anyone has ideas or things that they'd like to see the website, I've been going out to different projects, and I have to say I have seen some really just beautiful and inspiring projects, met a lot of staff that that are working on at these businesses, and so we really want to feature some of the outcomes of the IDA. And so again, we're looking for ideas, so feel free to talk to me if you have things or ideas about what the website should look like. And we have pretty much, I think, we're like minutes away from getting onto the new platform, but we're probably like 6 weeks out from being live on a new website. So the website, 6-7 weeks, but it'll be seamless, so we won't have or not have a website. So just kind of, moving away from IT, community outreach. So we just, continue to have meetings with economic development leaders and community members across the county, and we're really working to ensure that we just remain visible and accessible to the community, members of the public, businesses, and we just welcome any ideas or thoughts on how the IDA can be, of service. Yes.
One question, Henry, for the plan, the outreach plan that we had.
Yep. The JANAC group one? Yep.
How can you update a little bit of progress on that?
Sure. So I actually have, this is the JANAC group plan. So some of it is a little vague. Some of it gets into kind of a little more detail. So I think just to kind of maybe tackle some of them, give you some specifics. So I guess I could just kind of go through it if you'd like.
You have a copy of that, right?
I only have one
That's
copy.
fine.
It's just one actually Mike happened to find.
It's
And
the same one that we.
yeah, he just said, I found this. Do you want it? And I said, sure. So new business, including entrepreneurs and startups. I did attend a webinar from Fuse Hub, and they give out grants to existing and new startup money up to $65,000. It has to go through a nonprofit, and that's a conversation, maybe I kind of touched on with Mike. Joe has been in and out of the office, but I'd like to kind of talk with him about how maybe we could use the CRC to bring in some like smaller grant money to help existing businesses or startups, because as you know, most of the IDA money is kind of larger projects can kind of come through the IDA. It's not really set up for small businesses, but how could we be of service to those new businesses, entrepreneurs, startups? Existing businesses, again, we are really just trying to get out there, be present, go to chamber events, and as well as any opportunity that we can to kind of talk with business leaders. And then specifically in the last month, I've been doing site visits, so that's been great to kind of talk to some of our existing IDA projects. As for prospective applicants, we get a lot of calls. I would say because the cost of money right now is very expensive, a lot of the calls that we're getting are really more information gathering. I think businesses are looking to get their ducks in a row and really coming to the IDA. Joe and Mike are great about setting up a kind of a pre-screen call, which is really just an info gathering session about how the IDA works, what benefits are available to businesses, and maybe just hearing a little bit about their project and then letting them know what some next steps are. If a business is coming to us and they're really like just not right for the IDA, I will try to give them a warm handoff. So like, for example, we had a business call. They're an established business. They wanted us to pay for something that just like is not in our wheelhouse. I did ask Mike if this is something we pay for. He said no. So I did kind of hand them off to SUNY Ulster. They have SCORE and the Small Business Association, because this is stuff that they have access to for free. So those are just some examples when businesses are looking for kind of small things where we will try to make sure that they have a connection of that. Key business leaders and industry influencers, we are in regular contact with some of these people throughout the community. I don't want to put anyone's name other than, I guess, Kevin on notice in the public forum, but we do try to really make sure that those conversations are happening. Young professionals, so there is a young professionals group. I am like 2 years over the cutoff for that. I did ask the chamber if I could go, and she said that no one would check my ID, so so I am trying to hopefully get to one of those events, but then when I see people that they introduce as like members, I'm like, oh, I'm really not. But I'm gonna try. Yeah. So, but we want to be around the young people. And one thing that really I think has struck me is as I've gone to visit some of these sites, a lot of the business leaders that are kind of leading these sites are young. So I thought that was really great to see that the IDA is kind of help closing that loop for young people in the community who are trying to kind of make their mark, get things going. So that, in that respect,
Could I jump in one
Yes,
really quick? And once
sorry.
again, and I'd like to ask the board to review the site visits, okay? And sign up for the site visits. Let's get them done. Let's get them under our belt, all right? So everybody can go hit
Yeah.
a couple places.
and I love doing them, but it would be great. We've got a lot. We've got like 23, so if anyone wants to jump in, let me know. County executive, I think that we would like to probably get some more FaceTime with the county executive. It's not something, we have had a few meetings and been kind of at events that she's been at, but in terms of really sitting down and kind of talking through the IDA, we've had that a little bit, but I think we could definitely do more. We meet every other week with the Director of Economic Development. That's been really helpful, and we have gotten some leads from him on projects where we're kind of starting to work in partnership. The county legislature, as you know, as kind of we got some new members, so once they're kind of, the plan is let them get set up and then kind of go in and meet with them. And I did attend the UCIDA meeting and met the county chair of the Legislators Economic Development Committee, and they are in the process of appointing a new chair for that. Greater Ulster County community, we're out meeting with town supervisors. Most recently I met with the planning board or not planning board, the assessor's office and the mayor of the city of Kingston and town of Ulster, supervisor, and we're just going out kind of one by one as things are relevant to those areas, trying to make sure we're not just making meeting to have a meeting, but, you know, like if there's work going on in that area, or it seems like that's an area where there's some development happening, we want to be there and get in front of. Planning boards we have not hit up yet, but that's on our list. Local school boards, I have a plan. I'm not sure Mike loves it, but I love it. So I have met with BOCES and so Jonah Schenker is the superintendent of superintendents. My ideal plan would kind of be to do an info session with the superintendents, letting them know really the ABCs, kind of a primer of economic development, but that we're still deciding what the best approach is. But we've got school boards on our lens, and then key community leaders and key organizations. You know, again, we've been meeting with these people and these members. I know Kevin has planning to set up a meeting with us with Family of Woodstock. So we're really looking to kind of just cast as wide a net as possible on those. And so if you have suggestions, or if any board members, I know a lot of board members have been great of giving us suggestions, and I take all of them and then try to run with it as best I can. We're a member of Chamber of Commerce. I just recently attended their business card exchange, which was great. We try to go to any events that they have. New York State Economic Development Corporation, I believe it's council, but that's fine. We're getting all of their emails. Their events are a little more expensive, so we're trying to kind of just be mindful of which ones bring the most value to us and not just go to all of them, because they run several $100s each. And so they have one coming up in May that I'd like to attend, and I'm just waiting for that registration to open. Business Council of New York State, I Googled this one. I didn't really find much, but if you guys have a connection there, I'd be happy to follow up. And then news media, we did do our first press release and sent that out to several news media, and I believe we sent it out to like 4 or 5. It was really just a very truncated version of us lifting the moratorium, and because I know that Bill does a phenomenal job of keeping readers up to date on the IDA, but it shouldn't all be on Bill's shoulders. So we want to make sure that, you know, if there's other news going on that Bill would like to prioritize, that different news media outlets have that. So we did send it to actually a bunch of these on this list. And then we also sent it to Mid-Hudson News. And they're the ones that printed it. They kind of chopped it up a little bit in a way that I felt lost the essence, but that's okay. So our plan is to do more of that. I mean, I could keep going. I don't want to take up the whole meeting, but
So you have a lot of environment.
so we're trying to follow it. So and use it again. Like I said, it's kind of broad, but it gives us some good like places to kind of sink our teeth in, throw some stuff against the wall, see what sticks, and it's been helpful.
You consider us joining the Grand Valley Business Association.
Yep.
And Ulster Strong.
So
Ulster Strong, we were in communications
Yeah.
with the guys from Ulster Strong, and we were seeing where we fit in and how we were going to play it out. And I believe he's going to circle around with you, right, to set up a little meeting.
So I have met with Dan Ahaus several times. He's great, and there's two things to consider. One is Ulster Strong has invited us to most of their events, I would say, and so that's been great. I think joining is very expensive. It's like $5,000, so we'd really want to.
Not necessarily join, but somehow be able to participate.
Yes, and we've attended, I think, 4 of their events at this point, right?
Yeah, they had a housing
We did.
symposium.
Yep.
We attended that.
We attended that. We attended their annual event. They had during budget season, they did a budget event that we went to. So I think That's 3 off the top of my
I
head.
think we also may want to be aware of conflicts of interest that might arise with that type of group because there are so many people who might put proposals before us. So
Mhm.
that's the only caution I would have.
Okay. Yeah, and I think again, because we're just trying to be as visible as possible if we're getting invited to these things
Absolutely.
to then become a member and invest in it
I
maybe.
can tell you the one event that we did, 2 people approached us, Hillary in the room, about how the IDA works and what they could do for new businesses. We
Yeah.
happened to be in Ellenville.
Oh yeah.
We did have a little meeting with that person, so these things are really a networking tool more
Right.
than they are anything else. Nobody commits to anything, obviously, you know, but this is a board, we all talk about things way out in advance. But it's nice because when you're in the room, and I tell you what, when Hillary attends something like that, you know, I am not available all the time. She asks a lot, you know, she'll ask around, "Do you want to go?" And as this comes our way, I recommend that if you guys want to go, you should go with her because it's
Yeah, they're
good.
fun.
It's a good networking tool.
I joined the last one,
Let us know.
Yeah.
annual event.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was very helpful, Rashida, because
Right.
there were a lot of questions about how the IDA works versus suggesting that we have a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that was very helpful. It was a lot of discussion with existing business community and also people who are looking to come to Ulster County.
Right.
Some were developers, some were
Town supervisors
Town
were the big ones,
supervisors
right?
were
Mhm.
there.
There was
Supervisors, yeah.
legislators
supervisors were
there.
there.
It's a good mix. I think the thing that like, you know, a lot of big developers, they know what the IDA does.
Yeah.
It's the smaller businesses or mid-sized businesses that
Yep.
I think often when they can just approach us
Mm-hmm.
because they're there and be like, oh yeah, so and so told me I should talk to you. What?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right.
oh well, we're trying to buy a new computer system. Like, and
guy
that
that
really
the-
wasn't.
Yeah.
The one gentleman
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
over, and he was a little timid.
He
and
was.
His girlfriend dragged him over and goes, "I told him, the IDA's in this room. You need to go speak to them. You know, this is where we're at. We're a small business."
They are.
And I think it's an excellent networking tool. I just, do caution around conflicts of interest because, I know that, a lot of people involved in Ulster Strong also have ties with iPark 87 and other projects. So we want to make sure that we're not having any conflicts of interest.
Yeah, I let everyone know who comes that these decisions are not my decisions. They're the board. The board votes on it. My job, Joe's job, is really to kind of say, let's get this application, let's walk through it. Are you, a project that can come before the board? But then it's ultimately the decision of the board, and we make sure that we're very clear on that.
Right.
That it's never going to be me or Joe that says, "Oh yeah, this is great. We got you. Don't worry about that." So,
Oh, yeah.
so we try our best to kind of, like you said, make sure that we stay a real neutral party, and that we're here to serve the community.
Right.
So again, I don't want to take up any more time, but I would be happy to go into more depth, or if you guys have ideas or directions, send it to
I
me.
think the networking is really critical. I'm trying to imagine a conflict of interest of talking to people who might want to submit a proposal to us. It would seem to me that based on the number of proposals we've had in the last year and a half, we should do more networking.
Networking is fine. I think being a member of the organization was where I was thinking there might be a conflict of interest.
Well, I don't think we would join Ulster Strong, because that could be a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
It'll be
But that
expensive.
doesn't mean that going to their networking events, I don't think that's a conflict.
No, I think attending is perfectly fine, and that's part of the IDA, but the membership was where I was
Yeah, and
expecting.
I think knowing that the cost of that membership to me doesn't really make sense to us because we are a tool for businesses. We are not a business in the community. So,
When we look at like the Frondell Valley Business Association or the county chamber, they have much more modest,
yeah.
it's a different organization. Ulster Strong has more of an agenda than just a networking agenda.
Yes, they do. Yeah, and the chamber is a networking agenda. So, we're trying to, as much as possible, really, when we're here and just accessible, people can come and ask questions, and that's what we want to do. We really want to make sure that we're people know that the IDA is here for them, for the community, and they can talk to us in a way that's not, here
Gotcha.
necessarily. Okay. So again, I'd be happy to answer any more questions or take ideas. I love kind of just getting out there. So just moving on projects, I would say December and January were pretty quiet months overall, but people continue to reach out. We get calls or emails fairly regularly, or meet people at networking events, and then we're happy to we've got pretty good, I think, streamlined system where we get on a Zoom call. Joe gives them the 50,000 foot view, he calls it, of the IDA. Hear a little bit about a project, and then let them know what next steps would be for them if they wanted to come back to us. And that's typically what we've been doing. And again, like I said, most businesses right now are really just in that ideas gathering phase. So I just wanted to I'm just going to piggyback. I don't really have much more to say on what Mike said about Lynn Archer and Diane Enyon have both resigned from the IDA, citing personal reasons. And again, I just want to echo, I really thank them for their time and commitment to the board and all they've done for the community. I think it's been a real pleasure working with them, and I know that they have, personal things, but I will definitely miss having them here. So moving on to Paris and annual reporting. So we've been getting paperwork back from many of the sites. Our plan is at the end of this week to send out reminders to any sites who have not submitted their paperwork or paid their bills, so it's not a surprise, as we do have a pretty hefty late fee, so we don't want to catch anyone off guard, and so those reminders are going to go out at the end of the week. But so far, everything's been going smoothly. We still have sites available if any board members would like to come out for visits. We would greatly appreciate it. And I've gotten to see several sites so far. And again, I would have to say I am, bless you, so impressed. Every single one has exceeded my expectation. So that's been great. And of the sites that I've seen too, just anecdotally, I would say that what I've been doing is bringing out the form as well as the information in Paris on 2022. So it's just kind of a real brief summary of the pilot agreement or whatever the financial incentive agreement that they had. And everyone is exceeding on jobs, which is great. So jobs are there. We're getting jobs. Places look busy. Employees look happy, and I would say on that front things are moving smoothly. One of the things I will just again anecdotally say is on our questionnaire, it's what can the IDA do for you, and everyone's like, well, I don't know, what can you do for me? So so that's been a real interesting question, and I think where it's kind of lending itself is to, well, what challenges are you having, and where could some resources in the community be? So if you are going out on sites, I'm happy to go with you, but I just want to give everyone a heads up.
Just so I can jump in real quick. Hillary's being very pleasant, saying if you do go on sites, you have to go on sites. You are, by the attendance policy, you have to attend at least 2 site visits to 2 different locations, okay?
Yes.
Let me clarify.
Thank you, Mike. So I do have the list. I can send it out again. I've been highlighting it to ones that have already been done or are already kind of spoken for, but we still have plenty.
It's good for board members to go see what clients we're involved with, and it's very educational. And I'll tell you, I went on multiple ones, and every place I went, I was like, what? Ennis was a home run, that was a great place to go to. Brooklyn Bottling, interesting on the manufacturing end. There's really, really good places to go. I'm not casting shade on anything, else, but I'm just saying, the ones I've attended in the past, they really do. You really get a good grab on exactly where you're invested in these, for the community in these projects. And you get to see the workforce and what's going on there every day. I really recommend, you guys look at your sheet, demographically, try to pick something out that's somewhere in your area, what I mean? Don't make it so intrusive,
No,
go at the place in half hour,
they've been only taking about a half hour, 45 minutes, and that's including a full tour, questionnaire, You know, it's only 3 questions, so it's not overly intrusive.
And you guys can ask any questions you want. I asked 25, so you guys can ask anything you want. So
I'm asking 3 and then just letting them kind of lead me through the tour. And like, this is the first time I was ever in a distillery. I got to see like whiskey, and I met the guy who makes the whiskey.
That's the place Hillary asked 25 questions. The distillery.
Did they give you any samples?
That's right.
No, I did not. There was no samples, but it's great. And just getting to talk with the employees there, it has also been excellent. And businesses have really been open to kind of like showing us a typical work day too. And so when you see that, and you just see how beautiful these places are too, I'm like, geez, this is good. I like this. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. I will say there's only 2 projects right now that we've been having a little bit of like a minute trying to get a hold of the right person just for staff turnover, but we anticipate, I am like just calling these places off the hook. So they're not going to escape us. If we have to drive over there, we will get the stuff from them. So that's where we're at. So the next one is I just want to update you, everyone, on a small claims case that we had. So Ellen Bogan Media. So this predates, I think, everyone here. Joe was not counsel at the time. I believe it might have been Mike
No, I
was
was here.
on the board, but not.
Joe was here. Joe's been here since the building got built. Come
Well,
on.
we had a
Joe was here.
different counsel.
God was a baby.
No. Oh, we had dual counsel.
We had dual counsel,
We had dual
excuse
counsel.
me. So
I
Joe has
forgot.
kind of picked up, his team had picked up where that previous dual counsel person, whose name is escaping me, left off. And Mike was a board member but not serving in the role of chair. Let me rephrase that. So we kind of coming in a little green on a small claims suit that was filed against Ellen Bogan Media. And we did just receive outcome from a judge. So, so just kind of like summarizing is that we had entered into a contract with them to produce a video for the IDA, and that a small claims case was filed when that video was not produced. Again, we're dealing with public money, so we can't just be like, oh, I get it, no worries. So anyway, so we did have a public accountability, and we decided to move forward to file a claim in court on that. Sorry. So we had asked for the return of our deposit, which was $4,600 for media services not rendered as per that contract agreement. We were awarded $2,300, half of the amount that we asked for, and we're, I think for the most part satisfied with this, because they did produce a video. However, because of just probably communication breakdown at the time, that the video that they did produce just highlighted IDA projects of another county. So it's unlikely that we will be using the video. But, we have let our accounting office know to expect the income.
Hillary is being, once again,
Yep.
Hillary is being very nice. Okay?
So, yes.
She's being very nice.
I don't think I want to know.
How's that?
It's okay. So anyway, but we're getting some of that money back, and I think the judge did try to award them for the time spent on the work that they did do. It's just not
wrong
going
work?
yeah, it just will not be usable by our IDA, unfortunately.
Do we sell it to the right county?
Maybe.
I was gonna say maybe they
Maybe.
paid.
Yeah.
Maybe they paid them for that too.
Yeah, so that is a good option. We can
Yeah.
Orange.
all right. So
How do you make that kind of a blunder?
I'm not going to speculate, but I could say a lot that I will not say.
Did they do a video for Orange County?
They did a video for
I don't know.
for pilots for Ulster Strong.
They did, yes, but this was not that. The video that we received was not that video, and it was anyway. It was what it was, and we are happy that the judge saw fit to award us half of that
I
deposit.
think it's also safe to say we'll never be going down that road
Yeah.
again with that client. Or that
Vendor?
business.
Yep.
Vendor,
How's
yes.
that?
Okay, so that's all I have on the ED report. If anyone has any additional questions, happy to answer those.
Great report.
All right,
Hillary,
So,
great report.
thanks.
Gonna move into, are you done? Are you done?
Yeah.
You got something else? I'm sorry.
No, the financial
Yeah.
report, just so everyone knows, we have been working with BST. I think we've turned a corner. Things are moving really smoothly. Mark has been great, the man who was here last time presenting. And so he did give us a kind of just monthly breakdown, like an in-out. It just, the time that we got it, we were not able to include it in the board packet. So and he is planning on attending likely the February meeting and definitely the March meeting. We're kind of gearing up for our audit and then our annual Paris report. So depending on how that flows out, we've asked him to please kind of mark those dates on your calendar. So he will be here for those meetings.
And the annual report that went in, the budget report that went in, Hillary did a fantastic job with that. We had a hiccup here and there, but, you know, everything got squared away.
Mm-hmm.
She really dives in. She reviews every inch of it before we submit it. We finally got everything on board. We
Yep.
submitted it. It was all accepted. So,
Do we have the same point person, or did we switch our point person?
So we've kind of, we just have our team has gotten bigger.
Okay,
So,
got it.
so Matt is kind of still our day-to-day guy. When we get a bill, we're sending a copy in, but Mark is kind of helping us with that big picture stuff,
Okay.
which has been great. And he is, like I said, he's on it. He worked all weekend on these, so I really appreciate it. It's just time-wise. And then with the snow, we weren't able to get it out to the board for review, but it's really was kind of an extra that they were doing for us. So, okay.
and this is why it becomes very important now for reporting of all the different vendors that we do have out there to get this information in a timely fashion. And that's going to fall back onto governance
yeah.
when we don't have that in a timely
That's right.
fashion. You and Joe, and Hillary.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have to just be pretty vigilant on
But-
collecting the data.
I am calling them incessantly. They cannot escape me for this annual report paperwork. So I think we will be in a good place. And that leads us right into audit. Steve.
Okay, committee reports. Audit. Steve, Loki Brill.
Wilkie Brill is on page
10.
10.
10. I don't really have anything to add beyond the report,
We did have him change it to worker days. I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys, if
Yep.
anyone
which we requested.
yeah,
that.
did
Yep.
request
finds
that,
that
Yep,
helpful.
and they did it, so
Yes.
Now I can follow it.
it makes a little more sense.
It does.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Finance.
No report.
No report in finance. Governance, Costu?
Sure, a very brief update. We did have a meeting this morning as a group. It was highlighted to the new committee members that we will not be doing anything that's pertaining to past work that we have done on housing, but we focused on annual housekeeping and annual review of certain documents as they pertain to both UCIDA and UCCRC, which we will discuss later, of course. Other than that, there was no discussion that was pertinent, so that's it.
Thank you, Costu. Old business. Joe, status of pending projects?
Nothing new to report on that. The report is on page 12, and there's no change from the last meeting's report.
Enforcement matters?
And same, the report's on page 13 and no change.
Is there any new business?
Are we
Any new
going- are
business?
we going to-
I'm sorry?
Are we going to, the governance committee recommended that.
Oh, yes, you know, I'm going to do that under new business, as a matter of fact. So, thank you, Steve. Thank you for reminding me. I talked to council about this earlier. So, with the resignation of Diane and Lynn, we need to keep moving governance along. So, I've recommended that Steve Kelly and Rachel Silverman join Costube on the governance committee and continue working on housing and any other things that are coming down the pike. And you guys know that's very important is the housing. I also like to say, as we move along here, and we'll wait for whatever the legislature is going to do with this whole board, but I'd like to say, you know what, we're gonna need, we need input from everyone, okay? Everyone, anybody has something on housing, an avenue, anything. I've come up with some crazy off-the-wall stuff before. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. And you gotta keep entertaining this to help out, whatever it is. Nothing's ever wrong, you know, everything's a good discussion on that. So, you know, I don't envy you guys moving ahead. It's gonna be, you guys will be busy, okay?
Do we also need to do anything on the
The
recommendation for
housekeeping,
the,
really what I was talking about. We went and reviewed all of those policies.
annual
that
review
have
and the
to
annual
be-
housekeeping?
Have to be accepted every year.
We did that in the annual
Yeah, we
meeting.
did that in the annual report, we accepted that.
That's all,
And that's
okay.
what we voted on, I apologize.
No,
I thought you meant on, I had to,
no, no,
I had to
no.
just, we had to appoint committee members,
We
that's
just wanted to
all.
clarify.
That's it, okay, just to take over here. And once again, everybody does understand too that, excuse me, we're all up for reappointment by the legislature.
Yep.
Okay, our terms ended on 12/31.
Mhm.
Okay, so, once again, I'll piggyback off of what Hillary said. Currently, they're getting everybody in place, so we'll probably get notification from the legislature when that's all up to bat, okay?
Okay.
So, other than that, that's all I have for new business. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Does anybody need a break? Okay, thank you, Lisa. I'd like to call to order the UCCRC meeting, January 17, 2024. Roll call, Michael Ham, present. Stephen Kelly,
Present.
Rashida Tyler,
Present.
Rachel Silverman,
Present.
and Costi Walla.
Present.
We are all here, thank you. In front of you, you'll have the minutes from the December 20th, 2023 meeting on page 3. I ask that you review them, and I'll accept a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. A public comment, agenda items only. No public comment, okay. Executive session, there is none necessary. The chair's report, let the chair's report reflect the report that I've given to the UCIDA. Executive director's report.
Let the executive director's report reflect the report given to the UCIDA.
Thank you, Hillary. Financials,
Same.
Same?
The report
Okay.
from UCIDA be the report for UCCRC.
committee reports, audit. No report.
No report.
Okay, finance,
No report.
governance.
Same as the IDA
Okay.
meeting?
Flag. Any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Is there any new business?
I just wanted
Oh,
to make.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is not necessarily new business. It's just mention of. I know Hillary was doing some work around looking at a organization that helps with startup capital for small businesses, and I know the CCRC really, the UCCRC really has a mission to help also nonprofits. So I'm wondering if we can make sure that we're paying attention to the nonprofits in Ulster County, as well as small businesses, and just
Yeah.
pull that in.
Absolutely. I think that, I really need to sit down with Joe to see what kind of, as you know, the IDA and the UCCRC, we kind of live in these boxes, and you can probably hit the edge of it, but you can't come out. And so knowing, what tools are available through the UCCRC that we could, kind of help foster economic development is where we'd like to have that conversation. So as we find things, if we're like, hey, this would be a great opportunity, we could pull this through the UCCRC. That's, definitely on our radar to do. So.
Anything else? Anybody? Okay. Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.